In the diagram of a joke, there's the setup and the punchline, right? Let's make those like parallel lines, right? All right, I'm gonna do this. So setup, punchline, and then intersecting through here is this is like your point of view, right? This is like your comedic point of view, and then this line I call it "Who the fuck cares?" Like, right? Like
Yeah.
we've all and these intersect both the setup and the punchline. And so like we've all seen somebody like do the most brilliant joke on stage, but like maybe it goes through their point of view, but like who the fuck cares, you know? And so like that's why you need to make it emotional. You know, like you need to make it emotional because as soon as you make the bit emotional, people start to care about it because it resonates with their own emotions, you know? And that's why like, and I'm a big fan of vulgarity. Like when I said that about, you know, like that being a trick to like get people into it, I'm a big fan of it, especially when it's done really well. But like, I am a bigger fan of figuring out how to trigger people emotionally in like a really creative way.
That's interesting. So that
Yeah.
for your sink example, it's like if you just had the joke about the sinks being frustrating, that's like one level of connection. But when you
Mm-hmm.
personalize it to the context of you hating conflict, and this is
Mm-hmm.
like an example of that, now it creates a joke that's some jokes are like laughable, but they're not memorable. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
that extra layer is what actually makes it memorable. And they come up afterwards and are like, oh my gosh, I feel the same way.
Yeah. And to put it into an online context, I think if you really like if you went through the timeline of anybody's bits, if you got to see all the metrics and you could see the paper plane, you know, that gets flown over to people, the share button, usually if something's really emotional, that's where somebody will send it. Like that's where somebody will share that because like comedy videos have become a way of communication, right? Like we never know how to start a conversation with our friends, or like let's say you know that person that you really care about that that's going through something, and you don't know how to just message them, hey, how you doing, right? But like let's say they just went through a breakup, and then all of a sudden, you know, comedian Chad Daniels has a bit about breakups, and then you can just fly the paper plane over to him, send them the thing and be like, thought of you, and then they can laugh about it and be like, and then it starts a conversation, you know? Like
Yeah.
all any of us want to do are connect. And like now it's crazy because these stand-up clips actually like help us connect with each other. It's really
Oh.
neat.
Yeah. Do you find yourself writing in that way? Now you got me thinking, oh, I should start writing jokes that people would want to send to each other.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
I just write to like what I feel emotional about. I write to whatever's happening in my life, you know, I'll be like, all right, I gotta write about that. Or like whatever just happened to me. I'll try to like write like whatever the true story is, and then I'll try to figure out what the fun is within that. Um, uh, but yeah, I just try to write to what's interesting, and then I hope that other people find the same thing interesting. Um, but yeah, that I've never. Well, I can't say that I've never. I've actually thought to myself, like, what are people thinking about? What's trending? And can I write jokes about that?
Right.
And for some reason, I've never been able to do that. Like, I guess maybe it feels too, um, I don't know. It feels like I'm conspiring for views or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think about it in after, like retroactively, I'll be like, oh, that's why this one did better than that one because people care about that. It's emotional to them. But I never think that way. Like Jared Freed has a really great, I would call it like a series of bits that he's done, and he did a segment on it in his Netflix special recently, and it's based upon one question of what's your ick, you know, like how women will be like, oh, I didn't like he was super happy he was wearing sandals, and that's my ick, or like he brought up his mom on the first date, that was my ick, or whatever. And Jared, I don't know how many, I think he's done like over a dozen videos about what's your ick. And I bet the shares on those are
Yeah.
crazy
For sure.
because it's such an emotional topic. And like, but I don't feel like Jared saw that as a trending topic and then wrote something on it. I think that Jared heard about that, got really interested in it, so interested that he started asking people from stage, and then it became a thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I guess the crowd work side is I've caught myself sometimes like doing crowd work, like, all right, how can I force a viral moment here? And then
Yeah.
it ends up just falling apart because I'm not in the moment and being authentic. You know,
Yeah.
it has to be authentic, it seems, to really break that next level.
Yeah, every time that I'm doing crowd work and I start to think to myself like this needs to become something, or like I can tell this is going to be something, and I start to think about the process that's happening instead of just really flowing and being in the moment, that's where it stops.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the crowd can see me tighten up. And like at the UCB, they literally sell sweatshirts that say "Don't think," and like I'll tell myself that on stage. I'll be like, "Don't think, Pete. Like just react, react." And then I have it so often when I'm watching things in post where, like, I'm like, I'm sitting there just feeling like a guy that's in my head, hoping that I can think of the next thing, and then I'm watching this other guy on stage that's me, and I totally know that's me. I don't have schizophrenia. But I'm watching that guy going, man, that guy's good. Like that guy just thought of 4 things in a row that were really funny. And like, I couldn't think of that, but that guy can. But it's like, it really is a testament to what can happen if you just let yourself flow.